So it's about the middle of August here in Southwest Michigan. I've been working on a real small food plot for about the last 3-4 weeks, and about ready to wrap it up here today. I've done a few different things on it and about ready to hang some trail cameras. So thought I would just take you for a quick nickel tour on this little food plot, what I've done this year differently than last year, and then also how I get to it. So this is actually in an industrial park pretty close to where my office is, and just want to, you probably hear you see the truck go by up there, and that's the guardrail right up here at the top of the hill, and this goes down into a massive bedding area for deer. There is some cattails through here that's not real wet, but man, just a lot of autumn olive and a lot of great brush in here that we get a lot of deer bedded up in this area. So basically this little food plot is about, I'd say about 1/10 of an acre, and it's just surrounded by bedding. I mean, there's only really one way in and one way out to effectively hunt this thing. So I cannot get any big equipment into this food plot, so it's just carry everything in. Because of that, I'm gonna go from annuals to now perennials, just because it's just too much of a pain to bring all this stuff I need into this food plot by hand every year. So that way it's going to be a lot less work for me in the future. So I'm going to take you down this little trail here that I cut through the cattails and show you how I get to the blind, and then show you the food plot and show you some of the changes that I've made. So last year I took a hedge trimmers and I cut a trail through this cattails here. Then I had to do it again this year, did it about a month ago, and you would hardly even known that I had cut this last year, but you can see that we got a mat of a lot of dead cattail reeds here on the ground. This is a nice little quiet trail walking through here. I can get into the blind real easy. So this is the tree that I sit behind. Just a great little blind to sit in. So my chair or stool is right behind the trunk here. As I'm sitting here, I have a visual underneath this branch. Once I do see the deer out here and I'm ready for a shot, all I have to do is stand up, and now I can shoot over top of this arching branch. The main shooting hole is right out here in front of me. Now I have a visual out to the left and see them coming out, and that way I can get ready by the time they get out in front of me. Or I have a visual here to my right. And last year I was able to take a doe right at about 12 yards right out in front of me. I hit her right in the shoulder and just completely rolled her right over with a heavy arrow. So I'm going to take you out into the food plot. So this food plot's about 1/10 of an acre, not real big. And like I said, we can't get any equipment in here. No ATVs, got to carry everything in. So about a month ago, I was in here and I sprayed Roundup to kill everything. There was winter ryegrain and crimson that came back from last year. Did a really good job at suppressing a lot of weeds, but wanted to make sure I started out with a nice clean food plot. So 10 days after spraying, everything was dead. I had to come in here with a mower, mowed everything. So I had a lot of duff on the ground, right? Had to come in here with a rake, raked it all off, and because of the rye and crimson did such a nice job, we had a lot of nice bare soil. I know I'd get good seed to soil contact without having a rototill or disc or do anything like that, because you know really can't get any equipment in here. So a couple blisters later, after raking, came in here with some seclusion blend from Northwood's Whitetails food plot seed, and that's clovery and chicory blend. I broadcast that in here, and then we got rain, and that was 2 days ago. So 48 hours ago, I put the seed on. We already got germination, and that's what happens when you're using good seed. You've got your soil amended pretty well. You're setting yourself up for pretty good success. Now I think I've got some germination showing already in some spots. We got some, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but we've got some sprouts coming up already. That's 48 hours. But a couple changes I did this year was we got this little water hole that I added. So this is only a 15-gallon tank from Blaine's Farm Fleet. I went with only 15 gallons because of the fact that I can't get water in here except carrying it in, right? So 15 gallons in a 5-gallon aqua tank, you know, that's what, 3 trips. And so what I did though is, I don't know if you can tell, but the food plot kind of slopes down to the left. So my theory is, by having it on the north side of this bush, it's going to keep it in the shade a little bit more, so it won't evaporate as fast. But then I also dug a couple of little trenches here so that it'll kind of help funnel that water downhill into that water tank and help keep it full. So the other thing I did is I freshened up the licking branch, took the old one off and I put a new one on, and you can see I zip tied it right to the grapevine that was already there. Now it's hanging down right at the right height. Nice level ground, and got that all cleaned out, so they'll take that over. I'm going to mount my cameras right up here on that cedar tree, and you can see I had to do some trimming here on this hedge here because, man, all this stuff was growing out in front of the cameras. So we got a pretty good wide angle view from the trail cameras, and I trimmed off this tree a little bit here so they can kind of get underneath that bush and get their head in there. And I got cameras here that I'm going to mount. I got one Browning Dark Ops that I'm going to be putting in video mode. That'll be up on that cedar. The other Browning is going to be in picture mode only, hooked up to a little Spy Point cell link unit. So that'll send me pictures so I can monitor what's going on in the food plot in real time. Yeah, and I forgot to mention too that the other thing I did right after I got done broadcasting seed was I sprayed everything with Plot Doctor Lime, Calcium, Plot Doctor Dry, and foliar fertilizer. So 4 Plot Doctor products that was put on here, and being so small I sure don't need very much. The other thing too that I wanted to mention about this food plot is you'll notice I didn't clear out the whole food plot. So, you know, we've got some structure left in this food plot. We got, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 different autumn olives still growing in the food plot. We've got this little island here of cover. Now this whole food plot used to look like this, and you know, it came in and it was a work in progress. You know, first the food plot was just this little section here, then the next year I expanded it a little bit more, and then the next year I expanded it further yet. So now it's about 1/10 of an acre, but I just left this stuff because I like having structure and cover in the food plot. Just something that you might want to think about. You know, if you're clearing food plots in the woods, don't clear it out like a football field, because, you know, those mature bucks, they don't want to stand out on that 50-yard line. You know, does and small bucks will, not a big deal. They'll come out there middle of the day, but, you know, this is all about trying to get that mature buck in here. One other thing that I just wanted to mention here is that there really is no tree that I can hunt out of. And even if I had a really good tree around this food plot somewhere, I still would not want to hunt out of a tree inside of a thick bedding area on a kill plot, because I could ruin this thing after the first 2-3 hunts. We do have a big poplar right over there. We got a willow to the left, and I like the distance that those trees are off that food plot. They're a good, I'd say 15 yards off the food plot, but there's just no way to get in there. You know, I'd have to walk right through bedding areas, and I'd have to, you know, I'm walking in now right through the cattails where the deer are not going to be bedded, because it can be kind of damp in there. And they got all this nice dry stuff that they can bed on. We got some humps over there. We got a little bit of a hill over there. They're not going to be bedding in that low cattail, so I can come right in the backside, just sit right underneath that crabapple tree over there, not even have to come near this food plot, and I can get in and out without deer knowing that I'm here. And for me to try and get in one of these trees, even if there was a tree right in there, you know, now I'm going to get busted, because the deer are going to be seeing me climbing up the tree. They're going to see me climbing down the tree, and it just complicates things. And pretty soon, you know, you're compromising your kill plot really fast. So anyway, I think that's it for this year. Working on this plot, I think we're ready to go. All we got to do now is just wait for the food to come up, and let's see, we've got about 6 weeks before opening day. And it should be a great spot for my kids to come out here and shoot a doe, or, you know, a small buck if they want. It's not like we're trying to grow them big around here, because it seems like once they get big, they bed elsewhere, and they're going to different food sources instead of coming in here to this industrial park. So anyway, it'll be a lot of fun. Hope to take a lot of video this year, and if I do, I'll be sure to pass it along. So if you got anything out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.